and to reword this into the vocabulary that we've been building in this argument so far, the concept of quality, as in the continuum of reasonability, which you're saying that that's what you are agreeing with, the continuum of reasonability, more reasonable, less reasonable. The concept of quality for this continuum, for atheists, has to be measured by statistics. This is sort of the atheistic rational ought. And this carries no normative oughtness, which I am going to say this carries no moral oughtness. I think that's what you are trying to say. Because atheists only have atheistic rational ought, because it's measured by statistics, it carries no moral oughtness. All right. To prove this, you give a proof by example. You say brakes are dysfunctional because they aren't functioning the way they were designed to function. And this is clearly that's a tautology. I mean, it's a quality of being dysfunctional that it doesn't function the way it was designed to function. Yeah, pretty easy, okay, thank you. We get that. The measure of difference between the quality of brakes implies that there must be a designer who designed the function of the brakes. You go on to say, likewise, if there is a difference in the quality of reasoning, i.e., the quality of reasoning as in on the continuum of reasonability, which you said that's what you agree with, if there is a difference in the quality of reasoning, there must be a designer for the function of reason. This is how we discern the difference between oughts and ought-nots in rationality. Okay, so this is how we discern the difference between rational oughts and rational ought-nots. It's because a designer gave us the ability to have the reason, the reasonability. The designer designed us to have reasonability. All right. At last, your conclusion is the theistic view is the only thing that can make sense of this argument. An atheistic view can't. All right, yeah, I agree definitely with that last part. Okay. Going back. I kind of already went through some of the stuff and analyzed it, so yeah, I'm sorry. I told you I did a take before, so all this is kind of fresh in my mind. All right. The state of mind is measured by reason on a continuum. Good dinner. Okay, I'm assuming that you are talking only about the rational state of mind and not the artistic state of mind or even the spiritual state of mind where you are meditating and getting high on God, like mysticism and whatnot. I think you were talking about the rational state of mind, and it's measured by reason. Okay? And then you go on to say the continuum of reasonability. That's if I agreed with you, that means that I'm agreeing that there are more reasonable and less reasonable states of mind, and that if I disagreed with you, that means that the young earth creationist is as reasonable as a scientist. Logically fallacious. Wrong. No, there's a third option that you conveniently left out, and that falls under the category of disagreeing. And you could see the ones and zeros up here. This is the agree. And you got the one continuum and then there's the zero. And then there's the disagree. And this is the one and the one where both the young earth creationist and the scientist have perfect, immaculate reasonability. And then the third one, which is that one is reasonable and one isn't. All right? And the thinking here is kind of like programming. If you ever go to college and you ever take a programming in C or whatever, either the program is logical and reasonable perfectly in every possible way, or it isn't. And all it takes is one tiny little change, and it completely doesn't know what to do. It can't make the jump to say, oh, shit, that's what you mean. No, It doesn't do that. Likewise, in science, if there is one flaw in the theory, one thing that is wrong, that is not true in the flow of reasoning, if there is a missing step, it's not reasonable anymore. Is that argument still reasonable if there is a trip in the argument? No, not anymore. In math, it's the same way. If there is one thing that did not follow, there's this claim, and then how did you get here? But then the rest of it flows very well. It flows, and then, a little burp here. Okay, I don't know how you went from here to here. All right, and then it flows, and, there's the conclusion. Is that a reasonable argument anymore? No. So the third argument here is that there is only two states of mind. This is my claim. There are only two states of rational mind, since we are limiting ourselves to the rational state of mind. There is the reasonable state of mind, where you struggle to go through every single step, like what I'm doing, and make it flow logically, or you have the illogical state of mind. There is no continuum. There is no, this is more reasonable than that one. It's like saying, what's the most unreasonable thing you could think of? A paranoid schizophrenic in a mental hospital. Clearly, totally illogical, rambling, blah, 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 blah. This person, I would say, is in a completely unreasonable state of mind. And if you ask him to talk about God, what the hell? Blah, 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 God is the sun, God is everywhere, God is nowhere, and God is the shadow, etc., etc., etc. Okay, not reasonable, clearly. And the young earth creationist, is he more reasonable? No, he's not. I mean, certainly he's in a calmer state of mind, and maybe parts of his argument flow better than the paranoid schizophrenic. But is it reasonable? Is it reasonable? Are they adhering to logic? No. And that's it. But that's just an example, to show that there is a third option, and that's what I subscribe to. You're either reasonable or you're not. Either or. If you have one flaw in it, bam, you're not reasonable anymore. That's it. It's like programming in C. That's it. Yeah, it's kind of a hard line, and I'm not saying that, you made this one flaw, therefore you're not a reasonable person. No, states of mind can flow. I mean, sometimes I don't care, and I'll be in an irrational state of mind. All right, doesn't mean anything about you as a person. It just means right now you are not in a rational state of mind. Let's see. Then you give the example, the old Earth, given certain pieces of strong evidence. It would be illogical to not draw the same conclusion. Okay.